What's up, friends? Tuesday edition of Daily Dub. It is 2 days after Toylanta, and I apologize. This is actually Monday night. I got a bottle of water here. I do have my notes, just because I don't want to miss anything on this topic so that it can be helpful. It's actually Monday night. I'm filming this the night before. I try not to do that. I usually try to do it daily with you. But in this case, if you can tell, my throat hurts pretty badly. I think I'm getting sick. I'm losing my voice. It's pretty hard to talk like this. I'm in Pittsburgh right now. I have a visit here tomorrow morning, and then I'm flying right back to Atlanta. I just don't feel good, and I need to not be on the road this week. So next week I go to Mexico, actually, for vacation. So this will probably be the last continuous week of Daily Dubs. We will finally have a day without an upload at some point next week. But there'll still be lots of content for you. It's just, when I'm in Mexico, it's going to be hard to do. And so we'll fall into whatever the new routine will be, with probably just intermittent Daily Dubs. We'll keep going with Meet the Dubs. You got to meet Kimberly yesterday, my older sister, so you've met all 4 members of my immediate family. We've got David coming up. We've got Steve coming up. We've got Damien coming up. I need to talk to Drew. If Adonis wants to talk, James, and then maybe the spouses and some of those things. So that it'll keep going every Monday for a few more weeks. There may be some interruptions there. You'll still get trailers every Wednesday, still get a Dub Life every Sunday, just maybe not as much in the middle. So we'll just see how it goes. It's nothing other than I'm going to be in Mexico, and then we'll see what the routine is. I've rambled too long about that. Now my phone's locked, so I got to unlock it. But the question I got, a couple people have asked this. So both Brian and Ed asked this question about something that could be helpful for the new collector in terms of either imports or the higher cost figures. What's the difference between them? They asked similar questions, so I thought this would be kind of a helpful kind of glossary, if you will, at least just my thoughts on some of the things that I collect and what I know about them, and maybe it'll help you. So let's start with 6 scale. 1/6 scale, the line that most people know is Hot Toys, but not everything that is 1/6 is a Hot Toys. Hot Toys is a company out of Hong Kong, and they are sold through the company, the American company, Sideshow Collectibles, to the United States. They are the distributor for Hot Toys. I believe the exclusive distributor. I don't know if Disney gets from Sideshow. Disney may get them direct because they are a licensee, but or licensor, one of those. I don't feel good. I'm gonna do my best, put it in the mouth. But Hot Toys sells to Sideshow. Sideshow sells to us. Sells to your local comic shop if they carry Sideshow, whatever. Hot Toys, their big licenses are the MCU. They have the DCEU. They have Star Wars. They have like Alita, John Wick. They're movie stuff, typically. They have the movie Masterpiece series, which is up, I think, in the 500s now. They have a TV Masterpiece series, which is like double digits. There's not that many of those. They have a video game Masterpiece, like the Arkham stuff, which is double digits. So there's not that many of those. But they're big known for movie 6 scale figures. Sideshow Collectibles, who distributes Hot Toys, also makes 6 scale figures. They've made a bunch of Star Wars over the years. I don't think they make Star Wars as much. They primarily make the actual comic versions. So a great example is Ghost Rider. They came out at a similar time last year. I think it was last year. Hot Toys released Ghost Rider from the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. television show. Sideshow released comic Ghost Rider. So if you're more into the comic interpretations of the Marvel characters or the DC characters, Sideshow is your option. They've also had various things like Indiana Jones and things like that over the years. But right now, most of what I see them make in terms of 6th scale is comic book based. Sideshow also makes premium format statues, maquettes that are like quarter scale, or sometimes they call them premium format because they're not scaled, they're just big. Those are wonderful. I have one of those. They're quite expensive. So a Sideshow 6 scale piece and Hot Toy are very similar priced. Say $240 on average. A statue from Sideshow premium format is going to be $300-400, could be $700, and then they even have some that go way, way, way up. So just keep that in mind if you're in statues. Now, I'm not going to talk much about statues. I collect Iron Studios and Kotobukiya. They're both 1/10 statues. They're both had for under $100 typically. But I would talk to Iron Patriot if you want to talk to him about statues. He knows much more about XM Studios, Prime, some of these really, really big, like 1/3, 1/2 statues. He has a lot of knowledge about that. He would be more knowledgeable for that than me. Now, other 6-scale companies. We've got 3-0. 3-0 is my personal favorite 6-scale company right now. They make Breaking Bad stuff, Walking Dead, Game of Thrones. I love their stuff. I have a lot of their stuff. They're really not much different than Hot Toys. They don't come with a stand, I don't think, the way Hot Toys does. But I think their sculpts are fantastic. They come with accessories. You wouldn't know the difference. You wouldn't know the difference if you didn't know. Another company is 3A. They're a little different. They do a lot more with like robots. You can see 3A big Transformers. I just picked up a 3A Ultron. I have a 3A metallic Doctor Doom. I have a weird Iron Man. They get artists to do 6-scale stuff. 3A has also, I believe, made the some Ninja Turtles, the out of the sewer Ninja Turtles, maybe. But they're just another 6-scale company. They sell licensed products like everybody else. Star Ace, just another 6-scale company that sells licensed products. I collect Star Ace. I've got 300, like Leonidas Star Ace, and I have Harry Potter stuff from Star Ace. Star Ace also makes 1/8 scale. They make Harry Potter in that. They're doing the DC TV shows like Arrow, Green Arrow, and Flash. All of those are similar price points and less than Hot Toys or Sideshow. Like a 3-0 piece, like a 3-0 Mulder and Scully from X-Files is like $160 each. So they're a good bit less. 3A is slightly less as well. Star Ace too. They're just a little bit cheaper, lower cost, not cheaper figures. You have Mondo. Mondo made the Turtles. Mondo right now, you know them for making the Batman, the animated stuff. They're also making 6-scale. They're an art company is what I know them for. They make all these art prints that sell out immediately and very high dollar. Mondo stuff, again, is even lower sometimes, $130, $140 for 6-scale, but they're going to be like artist interpretations. They seem to be doing things that were animated. I'm not sure if there's Mondo based on human stuff. There may be, but I am personally not familiar with that. So that's another 6-scale line that you'll see stuff from. Then you get into Square Enix, the video game company, like the Final Fantasy company, who makes PlayArts Kai. They are all over the place in scale. They don't seem to be consistently. They're not 1/12, but they're also not 1/6. They may be 1/7. It's kind of hard. They're usually like 10 inches, 11 inches. But they have their regular PlayArts Kai line, which are just standard interpretations of the figure. So you just get a PlayArts Kai Arkham City Batman. It kind of looks like their take on the Arkham City Batman movie. But if you get PlayArts Kai Variant, which is what I collect primarily, Marvel and DC, it's like their take. And I basically say the PlayArts Kai Variant Darkseid is like if Darkseid was a Final Fantasy character. It's just a very unique interpretation. I don't think it's based on anything. It's not based on a concept like steampunk Batman or Sparta Batman. Things like that. I personally love those pieces. They're not super articulated, but they look great. And they look fantastic on your shelf. So that's PlayArts Kai. But then Square Enix also makes Bring Arts, as I understand it. I do not own a Bring Arts piece. And I think they're smaller. I don't think they're 1/12. I think they're some other scale. But they're smaller, and you bring them with you somewhere to play. I think that's how they're using those terms. That's just my guess. Play arts means you keep them at home and you play with them. Bring arts means I bring them to a friend's house and play with them. That's at least what makes sense to me. I have no idea whether that's right or not. But they look very anime style to an extent, or just video game style. I think is better. Then we get into 1/12, but first we've got the company Metacom. Metacom makes a product called Real Action Heroes, RAH. Those are also 6-scale figures. They are very expensive. Like the Breath of the Wild Link is almost $400 at ThinkGeek. And to me, those look way closer to dolls, Barbie dolls, than the 6-scale stuff like Hot Toys that we've talked about. And I don't know if it's because of the way they sculpt it or the way the clothes look. I don't know. I don't own one. I've never owned one. But I know they're popular and they're very expensive. So I just know they're out there. But then we go from Metacom and we go into their Mafex line. Their Mafex line are 1/12. It is one continuous line that I think is about on number 100, somewhere around there. And this is where you're going to see a lot of Dark Knight stuff. I own a lot of the Metacom Mafex Dark Knight figures, and I love them. Now, just like SH Figure Arts, which we'll talk about in a bit, Mafex has gotten a lot better. They're on like a version 2.0 of some of their figures, which when you hear version 2.0 in the import world, now we're talking about import companies coming out of Asia. It means they've gotten better at the body, and they're re-releasing a figure with a new body to solve the issues of an old body. That's kind of what they're doing. So, sorry, my phone locked. I know I said this would be a little rough. That's what the Mafex figures are. So they have a lot of Dark Knight. They've recently got Marvel Comics, because you've seen the Amazing Spider-Man that just came out. They have a little bit with Marvel Studios, the MCU, because you had Homecoming Spider-Man. I think they've had a couple I think there's an Iron Man that I have from maybe Iron Man 3. But they're basic comic. They're Marvel Comics right now. You get the X-Men stuff coming up. You've got Miles coming up, some of those other things. So that's what Mafex does. I view them as the primary competitor to SH Figuarts. SH Figuarts comes from Bandai Tamashii Nations. I don't know what their company name is, because sometimes it's Bandai, sometimes it's Tamashii Nations. I think it's Bandai, but I don't know. I think most people know what SH Figuarts are, but they're 1/12. By the way, Mafex, they're expensive. They start at like $90 sometimes. They tend to fall in retail price, except for the few that get really popular, like Spider-Man. But they're a $90 figure. SH Figuarts typically in America are around a $50 figure or $60 figure. And they have MCU. Like right now, they're releasing their Infinity War stuff. They do Dragon Ball. They do a lot of Star Wars. They have the Star Wars import stuff. Mafex does a little bit of Star Wars, but not much. And then they have Kamen Riders and many lines. Sailor Moon. There are many lines. SH Figuarts is like the type of figure it is, not any type of branding. So the SH Figuarts bodies, they have the fighting body that the Street Fighter figures are on, for instance. So that is, I think they're the main competitors. I prefer Figuarts to play with, but Mafex figures can be really good as well. So that price point's $50, $60. Now, the challenge with Figuarts and Mafex is because of Hasbro's master toy license with Marvel products, Marvel action figures, and Star Wars action figures at that scale, it's hard for them to get them to be sold in America. So you either have to import them yourself from a place like Ami, one of those websites, or Anime Export, or work with somebody like Toy Ninja or Toyco, or the people that are importing Japan figures themselves, and buy them that way, or you're not going to get them. Bluefin, who is a distributor, who I think Bandai's actually purchased, sells to like your comic book store, sells to GameStop, ThinkGeek, sells to Fresh Figures, sells to Adonis. They're a distributor like Sideshow, and things that can come into America that are from those import companies, they can sell, but other companies do find a way to go get them directly from Japan and go outside the way the distribution rules work. So that being said, the Thor SH Figuarts from Infinity War isn't in America. It did not come in through a normal channel. You can get it from some of those places I talked about. You can buy it from Big Bad at a really marked up price because they had to pay a lot of money to get it. But you could have bought it from Anime Export or something like that, or Toyco. But a lot of the other Infinity War figures did come to America, but they have to be what would be considered a play set. So the Ant-Man comes with a great big ant that he rides on. If you buy it in Japan, it's just the Ant-Man. It's a lot cheaper. That's all because of the way Hasbro's toy licenses are with Disney. Star Wars, I don't think anymore even comes into America at all on the Figuarts line. So keep that in mind. On all these import companies, that's going to apply. Tamashii Nations also makes little samurai guys that are pretty 1/12 that I collect. They have Star Wars and Marvel. I think those are cool. I don't think there's been a DC one yet. Now, let's see. We get into Mezco. Mezco's an American company up in the Northeast, I think New Jersey. Mezco's known for 1/12, and they make soft goods, so they're wearing clothes, right? Instead of having a painted and molded on suit, they actually have clothing on. I like Mezco a lot. If you watch my channel, you know that I have some challenges with them as a company, but they make excellent product. They come with, I think, the best action figure stand that there is, a very nice articulated stand, lots of accessories, usually good head sculpt, some light-up features. Mezco makes great product. They're going to be about $80, or they always are $80, unless it's a big figure like Hulk or Darkseid, then they're going to be in the hundreds. But they're an $80 price point consistently, and you better pre-order if it's a Mezco exclusive. Other things in the 1/12 world, talking about imports and that type of thing. Good Smile makes Figma. Those are the Overwatch figures you see me get. They also have like Link and Zelda. Figma has had Marvel. They've had some Avengers in the past. They're a similar figure to Figuarts. or Mafex. I think Figma has the tightest, most reliable joints and articulation of the three. They just don't have as good licenses as some of the others. I would buy a Figma before either of the others if I had my choice. Figma also makes Nindoroids, which are these little guys. You see them in GameStop on clearance right now. Some Overwatch ones are kind of chibi action figures, lots of articulation. They come with effects and stands, and they're fully interchangeable. They're like Legos. You can take the arm off one, put it on another, and they also make different heads and pants and all kind of accessories for them. They are fun. They're a fun thing to play with. Not that bad. Figma figure is going to be sometimes really expensive in the $100 range and higher. Usually still in that $80 range. Again, Figuart's the cheapest in that line of stuff. Then you have Kyoto. So Kyoto is the master company. You hear Revoltech a lot. Revoltech is referring to revolver joints technology. The joints that are in these figures that you see that are balls on all sides, and they make them hyper articulated. That's the revolver joint. So there is, I believe at least, Kyoto products figures that aren't Revoltech, but everything I collect is Revoltech. I think most people collect the Revoltech stuff. And the line I specifically collect is the amazing Yamaguchi line. I don't even know that I have a single Revoltech Kyoto figure that's not amazing Yamaguchi. That is the designer. That's the artist, so to speak, that's making these figures. Again, these are not at all for everybody. You know, the shoulder pops completely open and you can just see all the mechanism, which is terrible if you're looking at it from the front. But if you want a picture from the back where the sword's coming down, well, it's great. So that's what it's for. They're great for photography and things like that. You have to know how to pose them and hide the joints. They're usually like $60 in that range. Then some other more obscure things, Sentinel toys. I've taken some pictures of my Sentinel Hall of Armor Iron Man. They're great. Beautiful paint job. They're not, you can't take the stuff off. They have lights, but they have wires that are running through the figures to make everything light up. So you can't like rip the torso off, anything like that. You'll completely break it. They are the best looking 1/12 figures in my opinion, but they are very, very, very expensive. Even more expensive than Hot Toys. It could be $300 for a 1/12 figure, Iron Man figure. But they often really get reduced in price. All the ones I have, I've bought for under $100 on a Bluefin clearance. But that's a figure line to check out. And those are re-edit. There's an Iron Spider that just came out of that line, the re-edit. So it's Sentinel Toys re-edit. Sentinel Toys also makes other things. I have a Sentinel Toys Iron Giant that is nothing like the re-edit line of Iron Man. It was under $100. They worked with 1,000 Toys on that. 1,000 Toys is a much smaller company as well who does the synthetic humans. If you watch Dewdog's channel, you see him playing with 1,000 Toys quite a bit. The most articulated things that there are. Every individual spinal joint has articulation. They're wonderful. I don't know that they have any licenses, though, but they work with other companies. I think they're working with Dark Horse or Sentinel maybe on the Hellboy. So they just do the articulation schemes and the engineering. We got Comic Cave. Everything I know about Comic Cave, they make the small die-cast 1/12 Iron Man figures that light up, truly like mini Hot Toys. They're also quite expensive, but not as expensive as others. They're around $100. The Hulk Buster, I think, was like $500. But they're incredibly bad about distributing and transparency. You never know when you're going to get your figures. I think Comic Cave are in that world of Mezco, but worse, where I love their stuff. I'd recommend their stuff. They're a pain in the butt to deal with, and you never know when you're going to get it. I know Talker Art loves Comic Cave, and I'm with them. I have 4 or 5 pieces, and they're great, but they're just hard to get a hold of. They're hard to get a hold of. They also make some vinyl figures, I think, some other things, but I've never seen those in person. Then I think the final company I'll talk about is Beast Kingdom. So I have what's called Dynamic Action Heroes. They are a 1/8, I think, line, because all these are like 8 inches action figure line. They've just made the Justice League so far, but they've shown off Woody and some other Toy Story figures. Similar to the Kyoto Revoltech Toy Story figures that come out. I think Adonis has those for pre-order on Fresh Figures. I will say that the Justice League line was hit and miss. They got better as they progressed. I think they've only made 10 or 12 total action figures yet, period. The Steppenwolf looked fantastic. His axe looked fantastic, but the top of it was die-cast. The bottom of it was rubber. Thus, he can't hold it. It just goes choom because the top is too heavy. Well, that's something you got to learn from, I guess. They look pretty good. I don't know that I'll continue to buy them because the scale's weird, but that's one line they make. They make a lot of statues, some big statues and little ones. You can see Beast Kingdom's little statues at your ThinkGeek or GameStop right now. They have lots of little Disney licenses where it's like this big, and it's a little scene. David got me a Winnie the Pooh one for Christmas. And those are lovely. I would recommend getting them. They're like $20. The dynamic action heroes are like $60, and they've collapsed in price. I think you get them for probably under $40. But the final thing, the thing I collect the most in Beast Kingdom, are the Egg Attack figures. A lot of people ask me about those. They're a really big head, and then they have the regular body. They end up being about 6 inches, and they're in the $70, $80 range, sometimes $50, depending if it's like a deluxe set or not. They are a lot of fun. They're very articulated, very posable. They picture really well. Those are something they're mature in. They're really good at making those. They come with a stand that works for them. Lots of accessories. They're just great. I highly recommend getting an Egg Attack figure. All the stuff we're talking about, I think all of it you can buy in Big Bad. Almost everything I talked about you could buy from Fresh Figures. He doesn't sell Hot Toys because, like I said, you have to go to Sideshow to get that. But I think almost everything else Adonis carries. Your company's a Toy Killer, Toy Ninja. They're going to carry most of this stuff. Even Amazon's going to have a lot of it. GameStop's going to have a lot of it if you ask to see the pre-order list. They may not know they have it, but they're going to have it. Anyway, this video is really, really long, and I've got to actually go meet my colleague for dinner. I'm sorry I'm filming this the night before. I hope it's been educational. Hopefully it stirs up some questions and you'd like to ask some follow-up. Leave them in the comments. I'll reply in the comments. If something triggers another video, I'll make it. But, you know, I wanted to provide something that would be helpful. I appreciate the guys asking the questions, and hopefully this is a good thing, a good education tool for you. And if I made a mistake, I apologize, because that means I understand it wrong. Please tell me. Please give me the information. Send me the link that shows where I'm wrong so that I can educate myself better. Anyway, I hope you have a great Tuesday. Hopefully, by the time you're watching this, I'm already back home, or you're watching it Tuesday morning. I may put it up overnight right when it turns Tuesday, so some folks in the other time zones can get a chance to watch it. But I hope you're doing great. I will talk to you tomorrow for the Hump Day edition if my voice holds up, which is actually 2 days from now. I'm confused. We had a blast at Toylanta. I'll talk a little bit more about that on Wednesday. Until then, squeeze it.